Okay, so we are going to be dividing decimals, and I wanted to show you this little poster that's actually on my wall in my classroom, but this is just kind of the fun way that we teach the kids is if you've got a decimal in your dividend, you're going to float the bobber, you're going to take that decimal to the top before you start dividing, and that way you don't forget to put your decimal in your answer. This is the most common mistake that fifth graders make is they forget to put their decimal in their answer or float the bobber. So I wanted to show you that really quickly. Okay, so we're going to do a double digit. So let's just make it up. Let's say it's 75.24 divided by, let's say, 28. Okay, so kids, you know the first thing I'm going to ask you, what do we do first? When we see this, what do we do first? The first thing we do is we float the bobber. Okay, so we put our decimal in our answer in the quotient up on top. So we look over at our divisor, and the second thing we do is we round this. Okay, so is this going to round to 20 or 30? Well, it's going to round to 30, so we're going to put a little 3 right here, and we're going to circle it. And we call that our friend. And our friend allows us to do this division problem without having to multiply 7,000 things off on the side, which is why everybody hates long division, right? So this little friend helps us not hate long division. Okay, so we first start out and we say, does 28 go into 7? Well, obviously we know it doesn't. Does 28 go into 75? Well, we know it does, but we're not sure exactly how many times. So that's kind of where our little friend comes in. So we say, about how many times does 3 go into 7? Well, 3 goes into 7 twice. So if 3 goes into 7 twice, we're going to start with that 2, and we're going to multiply this by 2. We're going to take our divisor, and we're going to multiply by 2. So we're going to come over here and show our work. So we have 8 times 2 is 16, carry the 1. 2 times 2 is 4 plus 1 is 5. Well, that's only 56, okay? And we've got 75, so we might be able to put 28 in there one more time. So there's a couple different ways you can do that. You can multiply by 3, or you can just add another 28. We'll do it both ways just to show you. So we have 8 plus 6 is 14, carry the 1, 5, 6, 7, 84. If we multiply it, this is a 4. 8 times 3 is 24, carry the 2, and that's 84. And 84 is too much. So our friend did give us the right answer, okay? So we're not multiplying anything by our friend. We just use that to find the right answer, and it's 95% of the time that's correct. And if it isn't, the great thing about it is we know that if this is not it, it's either one more or one less. And so this little friend helps us eliminate having to do a whole bunch of multiplication, okay? All right, so we know it's going to go in twice. We've already done the multiplication. Now look, I did not put that 2 above the 7. Because 28 does not go into 7 2 times. So if you need to put a little 0 placeholder there, or put an X to hold that so you don't put that in the wrong place, that's fine. Whatever, again, works best for you. I really like to teach you guys to not have to do that. I want you to think about your numbers and where you're placing them. Obviously, 28 does not go into 7 2 times. It's not going to have a number above here, okay? So we're going to put our 56. And we're going to subtract. Again, we're going to subtract the way we subtract. So we start over here on the left. 7 minus 5 is 2. Does our friend need help? Yes, it does. So we're going to take that 1 away. We're going to give that one added number that we took away from here to our friend. And 15 minus 6 is 9. Now, we stop here. We pause and we say, we make sure, does our divisor go into our subtraction? Because this is sometimes where we make a mistake too. We want to make sure this number, whatever we subtracted, is less than our divisor. It is less, so that allows us to bring down our next number, which is a 2. We come back to our friend and we say, about how many times does 3 go into 19? Well, 3, 6, 9, 12, 15, 18. It's going to go in 6 times. So that's what we're going to start with. We're going to start with a 6. So we're going to come over here and we multiply whatever that number was, however many times our friend went into 19 is the number that we're going to use to start with. So that's going to be a 6. So we're going to come over here and we're going to do the multiplication. So we have 8 times 6 is 48. Carry the 4. 6 times 2 is 12. Plus 4 is 16. And we got 168. We're kind of in the same boat, right? It looks like we might be able to stick an extra 28 in there. So I'm just going to add 1 just to make sure. 8 plus 8 is 16, carry the 1, 6, 7, 8, 9, and then we've got a 1. 196 is too much. So again, our friend was correct. He gave us the right answer, and it's going to be a 6. So we're going to put a 6, and that was 168. We're now going to subtract again. Again, we're going to subtract our way. So 1 minus 1 is 0. Friend, obviously, there's nothing that needs help. 9 minus 6 is 3. Does our friend need help? Yes. So instead of that 3, we're going to take 1 away and put a 2. We're going to give that extra 1 to our friend. 12 minus 8 is 4. Again, we stop and we say, is our subtraction less than our dividend? Or excuse me, our divisor? Yes, just a little bit, but it is less, so that is correct. So now we can bring down our final number, which is a 4. Again, we come back to our friend and we say, okay, about how many times does 3 go into 24? Well, 3, 6, 9, 12, 15, 18, 24. It's going to go in 7 times. So that's what we're going to come over here and multiply by. We're going to do 28 times 7. 8 times 7 is 56. Carry the 5. 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19. 196. Does that work? Yes. And again, guys, we're real close. Like that looks like, ooh, we might be able to stick another 28 in there. So we're going to add it really fast. 8 plus 6 is 14. Carry the 1. 10 plus 2 is 12. Carry the 2. Excuse me, carry the 1. And that's 224. And see, our friend helped us, but it wasn't quite enough, so we added another one. So instead of this being a 7, because we added an extra 28, this is going to be an 8, okay? So we're going to write 224. We're going to subtract. 24 minus 22 is 2. We have the same digits, so we don't need any help. 4 minus 4 is 0. Again, we're checking. Is our subtraction less than our dividend? Yes, okay? Now, we are not going to write this as a fraction because we're working with decimals. So we always know, remember guys, we have to go to the thousandths because we're always going to round to the hundreds. That's just kind of our thing in our class is we always just round to the hundreds. So we're going to have to pull down another 0. We get to add a 0. This is 200. And then guys, we're just going to kind of use common sense. We've already multiplied 28 times 6 and got 168. We multiplied 28 times 7 and got 196. This is 200. So we obviously know this number right here is going to be at least 5, right? Because even multiplying by 6 only gave us 168, right? We multiplied by 7 and got 196. So we know this number is going to be 7. We already did the multiplication, okay? So we can go ahead and put our 7. If we are rounding to the penny, because we're always thinking money, right? We're rounding to the hundredths. We're going to underline the 8. We're going to circle the 7. We're going to go back to the 8. Does that 7 change that 8? Yes, it changes it to a 9. So our final answer is going to be 2 and 69 hundredths. And that's our answer.